Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'll be talking about the best barbershop fragrances from my collection. So this is a video I have been planning to do from a long time. And also this is one section of fragrances that some people, they absolutely love it and some people, they absolutely hate it. And it's more oriented towards matured guys who are in like maybe 30 plus, and it's not for the young teenage guys who love wearing fragrances like ultra male or taco rabanne fragrances. So these fragrances, I personally love some of the fragrances that there are some fragrances in this list that I absolutely love, and there are some that it's not my favorite, but still I enjoy them once in a while. And there is one more thing, like I have an obsession of wearing these like the barbershop fragrances whenever I go for a haircut. Like today I went for a haircut and I was wearing one of my favorite fragrances, and it's in the top one spot. So let's start with number 10, and this is a lesser known brand, and it's a very old brand. It's from, I think the name is Tabu, or it's called Dana Classic Fragrances, and the fragrance name is Tabu. So this is basically a female fragrance, but men also can wear this. It's pretty much unisex, and this was released way back in 1930s, I believe. And this is a bit of a controversial fragrance. If you Google it, you will understand like what was the purpose of creating this fragrance. I'm not disclosing it in my video, so you can check for the description. But this is a very classic fragrance, and this is smells different from the other fragrances that I have in my list. This is not like a typical barbershop fragrance, but it's very like spicy with a lot of like cinnamon, cardamom, all those spices with an old school vibe, and it has that little bit of a feminine touch to it. And I hear like this fragrance was the inspiration to in the creation of the one of the legendary fragrance called Musk Ravager from Frederick Malle. So this was like an inspiration for that fragrance, and I enjoy it from time to time, though I don't wear it much often. But it's a really great fragrance if you like the vintage style of fragrances. Tabu from Dana. It's like very old. Okay, so coming to number 9, this is the name itself is Obsession. It's one of the famous fragrance from Calvin Klein, Obsession for Men. Wow. This is the true barbershop fragrance. So, and this fragrance, I think it has my age. I think it was released way back in 1980s, like 1986 or 85. So yeah, I was born in 1985. So this fragrance is like my age. And I have heard that Baijan, Salman Khan used to wear this fragrance, and it used to be his favorite fragrance once upon a time. Like, and I can imagine like those days when like Salman was in his 20s or 30s with chest hair and all, before he became like a like he shaved off his chest and became the muscle man. So this fragrance reminds you of the 1980s, one of the best fragrance from Calvin Klein, and you got to have that, you got to love that kind of fragrances. Nothing sweet about this fragrance. It's very like and some people get bit of like a pan masala vibe from this. I can understand that, but for me it's absolutely incredible fragrance. If you want the nostalgia of like a classic timeless fragrance, Obsession, you can't go wrong. And it's very cheap nowadays, but the strength has been compromised. It's not as strong as it used to be. Like almost all the classic vintage fragrances have been watered down, unfortunately, and we can only enjoy the fragrances in its current formulation. It's a big task, like hunting down for vintage ones. I'm happy with my current version of Obsession. So one of the best ones from Calvin Klein, Obsession. I prefer this one over another one called Eternity. This is more on the barbershop fragrance. That's also old school Eternity, but I prefer Obsession for Men. Okay, so next one is a flanker to one of the most popular fragrance, and this one smells more modern compared to the original one. I'm talking about none other than Drakkar. This is Drakkar Intense from Guy Laroche. And the original one used to be the signature scent of Arnold Schwarzenegger. So I can imagine that connection, like Arnold used to rock that kind with that kind of a personality. Okay, and this one is, they have taken the Drakkar DNA and made it more modern. So this is like a modern barbershop fragrance. So if you want to get a more vintage old school vibe, go for the OG. And if you want a more modernized version, this one even the youngsters, the teenagers can pull it off. Because this doesn't have that too much old school DNA in it. It's modernized for the current generation. So the only drawback will be the performance, but it's very cheap. You can overspray the heck out of it. And I absolutely love this fragrance. It has some boozy nuances to it as well. So I prefer this over the OG Drakkar. Intense is my favorite one. This is a bit more modern as well. So that will be number 8. Okay, coming to number 7. This fragrance, this is not like a full-on vintage or barbershop fragrance, but it's very old and it's very discontinued fragrance. And it's from the house of Jean Paul Gaultier. So you must be thinking like Jean Paul Gaultier doesn't have any barbershop fragrance. So this gives me the vibe of a barbershop fragrance. It's more on the floral side. And there is one more fragrance in the list that has some resemblance to this fragrance. It is none other than the white Fleur du Mâle from Jean Paul Gaultier. So this fragrance is like an orange blossom fragrance. And if you watch the trend these days, there are many fragrances that are getting super popular right now that utilizes orange blossom. If you see YSL myself and the recently released one, Gucci Guilty Love Edition 2025, all these fragrances are using orange blossom, and this is the big daddy of these kind of fragrances. And there is even the Gucci Guilty Elixir. All these fragrances have some kind of resemblance to each other, but this one has an old school style to it. This gives me a little bit of a Kouros vibe to it as well. And if you imagine the floral version of Jean Paul Gaultier's Le Male, that is Fleur du Mâle for you. This has the best utilization of orange blossom in a men's fragrance. So all the fragrances coming these days, like myself, it's like an inspiration. You can say they are inspired from this vintage stuff, and this is potent as well. The fragrance from YSL called myself, that doesn't last much. Even the Gucci, I don't know about the performance. I feel it's average, but this is a beast more fragrance. Only thing is you can't find it these days. This is very rare, but this is one of the best floral vintage barbershop kind of fragrance to me. Amazing one. Those who have it will understand how good this stuff is. So from Jean Paul Gaultier, Fleur du Mâle is my pick. Compared to the OG, the OG is also amazing scent. It's my favorite one, but this has more of that old school vibe to it. It's 7. Okay, so coming to number 6, it's from the house of Christian Dior, and it's from the Sauvage line. So I have the Cologne version with me, and I think the EDT version is the, if you want the authentic barbershop fragrance, go for the EDT version. The Cologne version is more modernized, like if you see Drakkar Intense, the same with Sauvage. So the Cologne version has more of a citrus scent to it, and it tones down the old school vibe. So you get very modernized, very creamy kind of a lemon with this fragrance. I enjoy this during the summer season. So this is one of my favorite from the Sauvage line. And there is one more called Sauvage Perfume that's a bit more heavy. That's for winter. For summer, this is a banger. And it has a pretty decent performance when compared to the Cologne style of fragrances. So it has a bit of a green nuances and a bit of an old school, but it's like smells like a modern barbershop fragrance. So if you want an old school vibe, go with the Sauvage Eau de Toilette version, and the Cologne version will smell more modern. It is more citrus forward. So that's the only difference. Okay, so coming to now all our bangers, coming to the top 5. On 5th spot, this one is my favorite between Kouros and Bogart Furyo. Furyo is my favorite. So Kouros, as you know, is one of the most popular fragrances, but I feel Bogart has done Furyo like it has like overtaken Koros. This is more interesting than Koros. Koros has that urinal cake kind of smell coming from it, but Furyo is like a beast mode scent, and it is still a powerhouse performing scent. It has still the great performance. I don't think the reformulation has affected this fragrance like all the other ones. Man, this one is like it also has kind of something incensey about it, and it has all the notes like civet, castoreum, all kinds of old school notes. This is a kind of scent I can imagine Anil Kapoor would wear, like the old Anil Kapoor with chest hair and stuff, Sunny Deol, those kind of macho man. I can think wearing Bogart Furyo. It's an amazing scent, and it has that bit of a great amount of sweetness in it that makes it more interesting, because some of these fragrances here, they don't have much sweetness. Has the sweetness, bit of a spiciness and everything. It's an all-in-one package. It's an amazing scent. It's still available now. So if you want, if you don't want to spend the money for Kuros, just get Furyo from Bogart. It's an amazing barbershop fragrance. You get that timeless 80s classic vibe with it. Okay, so coming to number 4. Number 4 and number 3 are from the house of Guerlain. So as you all know, Guerlain is like a masterpiece house when coming to the vintage fragrances, be it the Shalimar, be it then the fragrance I'm talking about. This is none other than Habit Rouge. It's one of my all-time favorite men's designer fragrances. Wow, it has got that. This one is, I would say, more gentlemanly when compared to the other fragrances in the list. This has a bit more of a sophistication, and I believe this is like a male counterpart to Guerlain's Shalimar, which is the female version, and this was released, I think, after Shalimar, if I'm not wrong. So Habit Rouge is one of my favorite barbershop fragrances from the house of Guerlain, and there is one more in the list. I think I mixed up a number 4 and number 3. Actually, this should be number 3, and the other one from Guerlain should be number 4. But I don't care. Like these two, I'll be talking about number 3 or number 4 and number 3. These are like, you can't go wrong with these two fragrances, Habit Rouge and Heritage. So these are the two classics. So I prefer Habit Rouge a bit more than Heritage, and reason being, this is a bit more like, this has got that citrus note in the opening that I absolutely love, and this is a bit more serious. This is more patchouli forward. So if you want like a patchouli dominant barbershop fragrance, you should go with Heritage. And if you want something that doesn't have patchouli but more, this has a rose note as well. That's what makes it a bit more interesting to me. I get like rose, citrus, kind of like a Rojas mustache EDP vibe. Similarly, some kind of some vibes are common in both the Rojas mustache and the Habit Rouge. So this is my favorite of these two. Heritage is absolutely amazing, no doubt on that. Some people love this fragrance very much, like the Heritage. But my pick would be Habit Rouge and then Heritage. So Heritage, I'll be putting it in number 3. Habit Rouge is number 3 and Heritage is number 4. But you can't go wrong. And I must say, like, you should have these fragrances, 2 fragrances, if you are a collector. And if you love the house of Guerlain, you should be having these 2 fragrances in your collection. Both are amazing scents. This is more of the patchouli scent, and this is more of the citrus, rose, and the old school notes. And this is more gentlemanly. If you're wearing a suit and you're going for like a formal occasion, classic, amazing one. Guerlain Habit Rouge. Okay, so after Guerlain, let's go to the house of Versace. And this was a fragrance I was talking about when I spoke about Fleur Du Mâle. So if you like a floral vintage barbershop kind of fragrance, Versace the Dreamer. Such an amazing scent, guys. I feel kind of like it's kind of addictive as well. You feel wearing this scent very often. Like if you wear it today, I feel like wearing it tomorrow. Like that's the scent memory of this fragrance. It's very addictive and it transports you. The name is very apt for this fragrance. It's like it transports you to another world. You feel like dreaming. That's the kind of vibe you get with Versace the Dreamer. Amazing fragrance. It has the tobacco notes, tobacco. I think this has the white tobacco. The tobacco floral kind of a vibe that gives is amazing. So this and Amouage Reflection Man, all these fragrances share that similar vibe, like a bit of a soapy nature. And that's what I was talking when I mentioned Fleur du Mâle. So these two fragrances, you get some kind of a similarity. This is bit more in your face and like punching, and but this is bit more toned down. I think the older formulations were more stronger, but still the composition, the way this one smells, you don't find any other designer fragrance that smells like Versace the Dreamer. Absolute best one from Versace. And just forget the current fragrances like Dylan Blue, Arrows. All those are for like the kids, but this is for the gentleman. Like I mentioned, Habit Rouge. This is another gentlemanly scent. You feel like wearing suit and tie. So amazing fragrances. And so this is a number 2. So coming to number 1, I am obsessed with this scent, and I regret getting this scent so late in my fragrance journey. I think I should have bought this scent earlier. This is from the house of Davidoff. This is Zino. So many people are already familiar with this fragrance. They must have used it, but I am late, so better late than never. So this fragrance, this is my most favorite barbershop fragrance. And today I went for a haircut. I was wearing Davidoff Zino. It's very addictive to me actually. And this fragrance shares very high resemblance to Guerlain Heritage. And there is one more expensive fragrance from Tom Ford, Body Joe. So that fragrance has clearly taken its inspiration from Davidoff Zino. And why I love Davidoff Zino this much is because it has the goodness of these two fragrances combined together. So all people know that Zino smells kind of like Heritage in the dry down, like the patchouli kind of aspect. But in the opening, I feel Zino has vibes of Habit Rouge. That citrus from Habit Rouge is there in the opening of Zino. So that makes Zino more playful compared to Heritage. Heritage is more serious. So with Zino, I get the goodness of both Habit Rouge as well as Heritage. So that's what makes Zino my most favorite barbershop fragrance. I absolutely enjoy this scent. Let me spray this once more. Wow. Such a terrific barbershop fragrance. I should have gotten this earlier, but I'm happy I have it now. And this is a discontinued fragrance, but still you can get it in, like, it's very cheap. For the 125 ml, it's just $20. So you can still find it in the discounters. Also in drugstores, they sell Davidoff Zino. And I don't know until when it will be available, because it's already discontinued as per the information from the Davidoff website. So get your hands on this one if you want to stock up. The performance is kind of average. Like the old one used to be a nuclear beast, that's what I heard, but I can only enjoy in its current formulation. But the smell is exactly the same, that's what I heard. Only thing is watered down. You will get like 4 to 5 hours maximum with Davidoff Zino. But 125 ml for a $20 is a no-brainer. And for the kind of smell and the kind of old masculine vibe this gives, this is my number 1 old school barbershop fragrance. So guys, that's it. This is my number 1 in the list. I hope you enjoyed this video. I was planning to make this video for a long time, but I don't know, I just kept on forgetting, because this is one section of a fragrance that you don't wear it often, but whenever you wear it, you feel like you get transported to the vintage times, the 80s, where there were like macho man, muscular people with chest hair. Nowadays we don't find that kind of people anymore. So that's what inspired me to do this video. So just you please feel free to list down your favorite barbershop fragrance, and is there any fragrance that I need to get my nose on. Yeah, that's it guys. So wish you a good day, and I'll be back with another video. Stay tuned.